No, thank you. We don't want any more visitors, well-wishers, or distant relations.
And what about collection show co-hosts?
Tyler?
Valkrist, 111 years old. You haven't aged a day since our last episode.
What did I say? Come in, come in.
Still got a few bottles of the old one here.
Well, Val, we are finally here, so why don't you walk us through your very impressive collection and room, and you can tell us a bit about your favorite pieces and some of the interesting things you have in your collection. So let's get going.
Sure, sounds good. Thank you, and welcome everyone to my collection room. Like Tyler said, yeah, it's been a long time coming. We moved here January this year, and it's taken many months and renovations and whatnot, and then putting everything up. So I'm excited to finally show you guys what I've been doing all this time. Come on in. Welcome to Vancouver. Right here in the entrance area, I've put some of the Hobbit pieces, as you can see. Very local acolyte in this area, but as you will see, I originally didn't intend to have collectibles in this entrance area, but wall space ran out pretty quickly, so I had to make some compromises, and yeah. Hobbit being the least favorite of my two trilogies, I kind of put some of the pieces over here. So you guys will be familiar with a lot of these swords and whatnot.
So what we got? The Deathless sword here. We got
This is Deathless from Noble Collection, which is pretty much impossible to find now. This is Thorin's regal sword. So it was originally Thor's sword in the Hobbit trilogy. These are all United cutlery except for Deathless.
Now we got
Here we are at the sign of the Prancing Pony. This was inside made by Into Darkness, Andrew. It's lovely. It actually comes with chains so you can hang it if you want. Got it there on the door. And here we are.
very impressive.
Welcome. Some more Hobbit weapons there. Here I've got sort of my mostly Last Alliance themed display.
The sword of Isildur,
Yeah.
the shards and Arcel.
Sergeant Arcel. Here's the scroll of Isildur. That's from Magnolia Props.
Maybe tell us a bit about this custom whip on your Balrog here.
Yeah, so that was made by Mork from Orc from the Flame of Udin forum. That's amazing work. I mean, the paint exactly matches that of the statue. It's very flexible, so he can basically mold it and shape it to any shape you want. Yeah, in my previous collection room, the ceiling was a little lower, so that was about all the clearance that I had. So he made it like this hoop.
We got the crown of Elessar here.
Crown of Elessar. This piece that some of you may not recognize, that is the actual Elessar, the elf stone from the books. Does not make an appearance in the movie, sadly. That's a very beautiful piece that was made by Badali Jewelry. Two versions of it. This is the actual sterling silver with the actual precious stone in it, which is really cool. Some minor pieces in there. The United Cutlery mini shards. That's the original version. There's a newer version out now with more accurate coloring.
Do you feel tempted to get the new one at all?
I actually don't like it as much.
Oh,
I
interesting.
know it's color corrected, but I feel like this is more like what we see in the movie.
Right.
So some of the older Sideshow Weta pieces. The weight.
With the Noble Collection brooch.
Yep.
And then we move over to... I really like this setup. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I try to theme it kind of like, it's battle involving, soldiers, the original Second Age Numenorean shield, and there's the original Narsil versus Sauron as the mace. And then here we've got sort of a little bit of the Mordor display. You got the Last Alliance homes and Barad-dûr in the background, Elendil, and that's another piece by Mork from Orc, the eye, the resin eye, which is just so cool. Looks like a cat's eye. Here we have the newest, one of the newer pieces from Weta, Elendil, facing off with the new Sauron. Eventually, when Gil-galad gets released, he'll be going just behind there to complete the scene, which is going to be pretty exciting.
And then we got...
This is the Master Collection Treebeard.
Very hard to find, sought after piece.
Yeah.
In a great case here.
Yeah, that's a Moji case.
The likeness on Merry and Pippin too is just
it's
great.
amazing. Yeah,
Like
definitely my favorite.
you really can't appreciate it till you see it in person. And then you've got this awesome, cool little plaque here made by...
Yeah, it's another of Andrew's works, Into Darkness. So that's one of the crown jewels of my collection. It's actually the only masterpiece collection that I have, and it's my favorite. I don't think any of the other ones since have topped it or will ever come close. I know opinions will differ, but this is my favorite. Here we have the limited edition Andro from United with the scabbard. The big newer Argonath. Yaromir. Minas Tirith, which I was lucky enough to get on the re-release recently from Weta.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, Tyler, for that campaign. That was successful. We have some of the miniature helms.
Tell us about this bow a bit.
That is actually Toriel's bow from The Hobbit. I know it doesn't quite fit the area, but like I said, I was struggling to find space for some of these more awkward pieces, and they just kind of had to go where they went. So it still kind of looks good overall as a Middle-earth collection, but as far as theming, a lot of collectors quickly realize that you can only do so much. So that's where that one and the one above look the best. So yeah, so that is the United Cutlery version. I know Weta put one out as well. So that's Legolas's bow up top from The Hobbit. And here on the windowsill, we kind of go back to Last Alliance. Isildur.
One of the best pieces Weta's made, I think.
Oh yeah,
That's the
classic. Gondor / Numenor stuff.
The likeness on Vigo on this one is actually really good.
Yeah, one of the earlier pieces to depict the character. It's pretty good.
Yeah. You can't really go wrong with it.
Yeah. If you come back around here, you can see that wall
And then
This
we
is
go.
what I call my fellowship wall. So I have here, these are Legolas's bracers from Crop Circle. And we have the Hollywood Collectibles group, limited edition flying bow with arrowheads. The peacock quiver with the arrows. I can't for the life of me remember which company made those. It's very hard to find. There were very few made, and I picked that up from a friend that was selling off his collection. So looking to find that. It's probably even harder to find than the bow itself. Legolas knives, obviously, scabbards. Let's move over to Aragorn with Elven hunting knife, sword, scabbard. We got a couple of Hobbit objects here with Sting and Scabbard and Sam's. That's the museum, quote unquote, collection version of the of Sam's sword. And I'm being optimistic and saving some room here for Merry and Pippin's blades or Lothlorien daggers when UC finally gets around to releasing them. And then we got Boromir here with the Crop Circle bracers. Boromir's shield was again made by Into Darkness, Andrew. Amazing work. One of my favorite pieces.
And that's all like wooden, leather, metal.
Yep. Actually, I wish I could show you the strap was made by I think his name was Rick Cotton, I believe, made all the leather work. I mean, it looks amazing, all the detailing on it. I wish it'd be easy to take it down and just show you that part, but it's fully complete at the back with the wood paneling and the handle and everything. It's 100% faithful to the prop. United's horn and the sword. Then we move over here to Gimli. We got the 3 axes. Hopefully you see we'll get around to releasing the two missing axes, which are the throwing axes. And Kit's given indication that they will eventually release those, so that's good. There's his helmet, of course, and then we go to the Gandalf area here with various iterations of his staff. Glamdring, of course, the 2 scabbards, and missing here is the white staff. I do actually have the United Cutlery white staff of Gandalf, but it does have some. Anyone familiar with the 2 or 3 versions that they've released since? I actually got the original. It has the metal head, but it has some paint chipping and cracking issues, so I didn't think it was good enough to show and display it. And also because United is actually going to re-release that staff again, and it's going to be made more accurate, so I decided to leave that blank, and so the new staff will be going there when it comes out.
Then we have a very cool corner over here.
Yeah, this is the Witch King's personal area. You can see the 3 blades here for the Nazgul. Again, leaving room here for the 3rd, very highly sought after 3rd Nazgul sword that's never been made. Maybe we'll get there one day.
One day.
Kit, are you listening? Then we have the mask, Witch King mask from United. These are the 9 Rings of Men by Badali Jewelry, which I think are really, really cool. I think they're the only company that's made all 9. Pretty fantastic collection of rings. Minas Morgul, of course, many of you are familiar with that from Weta. The older Witch King piece. And then up top there we have the 2 gauntlets those are the gauntlets of the actual Witch King, they have a slightly different design than the Nazgul gauntlets.
Yeah, they have these spikes are different.
Yeah, and this design here is different as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we also have the Twilight Crown of the Witch King. This is it's all in pewter and metal. It's very heavy. And the crown, the stand and plaque also were made by Into Darkness. Again, I Can't believe how much talent that guy's got, and I've been lucky enough to be able to purchase some of his unique pieces. So that's another one of my pride and joys.
A nice touch here that might not be obvious to some people too is this plaque here has the same shape as the Witch King's
Yes,
plaque.
the plaque, yeah. Again, just incredible attention to the detail and the craftsmanship. Those little, almost like an Easter egg. Then we move here to sort of a Hobbit display again. We got the War Troll and Bjorn's house. Really like that piece. I wish he was to scale, but it's still pretty impressive size. Yeah, never did buy the cave troll, either the original or the newer one, which is actually more to scale than this one, but can only fit so many things. And down below there we got the Elven Mirkwood helm from The Hobbit, a couple of the DVD special edition pieces.
That Bjorn's house is a real great little environment too.
Yeah, it is.
I like how the well too, like,
Yeah.
that's
And all
cool.
the beehives on the roof. And
Yeah.
everything. It's really cool. And up here we got some of the Ring Wraith helms from The Hobbit. Missing the newest one. I don't think it's been released yet. It's on order, but it's not. Hasn't come out yet. Some of the pipes. The old film frame.
I didn't realize those were so tiny.
What?
The film frame.
Oh, yeah. This is... We got these as a gift when we were lining up for the trilogy marathon, like all 3 movies in one day at the movie theater. They handed these out. These are actual genuine frames or film cut from the movie. You can even see the soundtrack lines on the side there. Well, there were a few different variations of the images, but it's not that rare. You can
No.
You can usually find a lot of those on sale on eBay. Here we have the Red Book of West March from Indie Props. Some of these paper props are made by Andrew.
Did he make this wooden?
Yes, so this is styled exactly after the. Let's move over here quickly, but you see Bobo's stand over there.
Oh yeah.
Yep, it's the exact same. Of course, Andrew actually created the entire desk and
He did.
chair and stand, but he just made this smaller version for me to have sit on the display case here.
And then the book, it has actual. It's full of illustrations.
Yeah, so the book is complete, as like the one that you see in the movie. So it's got the nice leather cover. Here's the Bilbo's photo that comes with it. So it's fully written out and in the hand of. It's got the tale of the Hobbit initially as written by Bilbo, and then it follows with the Lord of the Rings as written from Frodo's perspective. So that's how the handwriting eventually changes.
Have you?
And then at the end, it's finished off by Sam.
Oh, nice. Have you tried to read through it?
I have not. Yeah, here's the final part. One of these days, it'd be interesting to just read because I mean, it's only from it's not the complete Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. It's only told from the perspective of the 3 characters. So, because of that, obviously, there's a lot of stuff missing. But
You got Bilbo's
really cool.
handkerchief here.
yeah, it was made by Arwiniel. Some of the paper props are made by Andrew. Inside the case there, we have the Magnoli Thorin map for Erebor.
That the Weta.
That's the Weta, that's Thor's ring. We got the 2 keys back there. That's Smaug's claw, the Arkenstone. His deed of contract. It's the museum collection Sting, the file of Galadriel, the One Ring, and of course Bilbo's mithril shirt. That's all actual metal and stones. That was made by our sadly departed Andrew Hulton, or also known as Thranduil in the forums. And it's to scale, so it's Hobbit sized.
Now, is that the Noble Collection vial?
No, that one's made by John Lowe from Dream Spheres.
Okay.
And that one actually, if you put a UV light to the liquid, it actually glows blue, which is really, really cool. Do have the Weta version, but that's further down in the case there. A lot of these coins that you see are they're the Shire Post mint coins.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
They're really cool. They really add to the collection.
The One Ring.
Yep.
And that's the Noble Collection brooch?
Yes, that's the Fellowship brooch from the Noble Collection.
And then the Museum Collection Sting.
Yep.
And then the goodies don't end there.
No, down below we have, let's see, what do we got here? We got Sam's elven rope, Aragorn's pipe, we got some lembas bread. Oh look, more lembas bread. That's Sam's salt and spices box, bundle of Bilbo's invitations, a bunch more coins, some jewelry from Rivendell. Here we have one of the elven cloaks from Lorien. That's from Stansborough in New Zealand, and they actually made the cloaks for the movie production, costume design, and that one's to scale. It's Hobbit sized. There we have Thranduil's sword and the what they call the frog scabbard. Radagast's staff.
Very hard to get now.
Yeah.
And we got a bit of Mordor over here.
Here we got this is the Sauron corner. It's the original. Was it Sideshow Weta or was it Weta at that point? I think it was still Sideshow.
Yeah, that one's
version.
Sideshow.
Yeah. We got the gauntlet from United with the giant One Ring on it. Mouth the Sauron. Got the Jerry Vanderstelt Sauron in the background at Mount Doom. Got that's the One Ring from Noble Collection. That's the rarest one with the black box, and the ring's actually 18K gold. Really hard to find that one. We got the two versions, or two of them, several versions of Sauron's Hall, but that's the original UC one, and then the Sideshow Weta quarter scale version next to that.
And then we get some Rohan swords, eh?
We got, Newer and Rohan, we got the quartet swords there. The patriarch of the family up top, Theoden, with the scabbard that was made by Andrew Hilton. And then Theodored, Eowyn, and Guthwine beneath. Don't yet have a Guthwine scabbard, but that's on the wish list. Over a bit into the Shire here. We got the limited version of Bilbo and Bag End, which I think is just so amazing. I'm so glad I went with this one versus the classic series piece. It's the amount of detail is just so incredible. And it was a lot of fun putting in all the little paper props and pieces.
It definitely is one of those pieces where it looks so much better in person. Not that it looked bad online, but when you see it in person, it looks even better.
And it's very eye-catching. Anytime I have someone here that hasn't been here in here before, or friends or whatever, or family, they immediately go to it. It just catches the attention almost immediately. Here I have the
special piece up here.
Yeah, some of those on Flame of Uden and UC Forums might have seen this because I posted a couple pictures. So that was a print I grabbed at the Calgary Fan Expo last year. That's actually when I met Tyler in person, and we had lots of fun, and I got to meet all 4 of the actors and got them to sign the piece. So that's a very treasured part of my collection there.
I think I had a part to play in convincing you to get that too.
I think you might have, yeah.
And we got more Rohan here.
Some Rohan pieces down there. Helms. The older, smaller Helm's Deep.
The new one's going.
Would have loved, yeah, right. No, I didn't order it, sadly, again. Just rising costs of collectibles and lack of space have really kind of putting a dampener on things of late, but I'm quite happy with all the stuff I have.
And this is a fairly rare mini piece here.
Yeah, Gimli on Orc number, or Uruk number, or whatever. I can't remember the exact. Yeah, it's a cool little piece. And next to that we have Kyle's Zirak Zagil. Which is very cool. And we got just a whole medley of stuff. Kind of tried to organize this sort of in the sequence of the first movie, The Fellowship of the Ring. We got Gandalf coming in, some stuff from got Bagan and the Key with Bilbo, and the portraits of his parents. Got a lot of Shire here coming in with the Hobbit holes. Which I think are just awesome. Interesting to see if I can collect all, what is it, 44 of them? In a space for all of them. Some of the ring raids here. A couple of the noble rings here. That's the Ring of the Witch King and the Ring of Men.
The detail on the classic series Nazgul.
Yeah,
just
I mean, it's insane. Like the texture of the fabric on the robes and everything. It's. I mean, I love the classic Rider piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a beauty and charm of its own, but comparing the two, you can definitely see the change in craftsmanship. I love them both equally, but just the level of detail on the newer pieces is astounding.
It's such a great pose too.
Yeah, yeah.
And we got some Isengard down here.
Yeah, we got the Uruk-hai swordsman there.
That's a great piece too.
Yeah.
I think it's the best version of an Uruk-hai in statue form.
I think so, yeah. With the pre-ruin Orthanc. I hadn't started collecting yet when they came out with the original Ruin version, so I don't have that one. There's Saruman and his Palantir.
Any plans to get the classic series Saruman?
Not at the moment, no. Actually found a shift over here. This piece.
You don't know who might be watching. They're not all accounted for.
So this beauty here, and it's as heavy as it looks, like a bowling ball. This was also made by Dream Spheres, John Lowe. Comparable work. Had today been a sunny day, I would have left this out in the sunlight because it actually absorbs it and then it glows. All the blue bands glow, and it's quite a thing to see. And the base here, which you'll recognize as the top of the plinth in Orthanc where it sits, this was also made by Andrew.
It's safe to say that if you don't recognize something in In Val's collection, Andrew made it.
More than likely, yeah. Well, the two Andrews, because
Yeah.
speaking of Andrew Hilton,
Exactly.
you
Just
come
Andrew
down here,
made it.
and these are all metal and leather versions of Theoden and Eomer's helmets with actual real horsehair. These were painstakingly made by Andrew Hilton. I think this was limited to 10, I believe, and that was either 15 or 20 that he made. I was lucky enough to get the two. I got the number 8 of both editions. Got here.
Aylmer's Banishment.
Yep. Signed it just today.
Andrew make that as well? Or was that a Magnolia?
No, this, I think this was made by one of our prop makers from Spain. For a while there, I was a member of the Mundo DVD forums, where there's a lot of very talented craftsmen from Europe, specifically Spain. It's a Spanish language forum. And one of them made that. I wish I could remember who, but they also made the Smog's Claw that's over in the cabinet, and the chess piece from Bjorn's set. So I've got quite a few pieces from those guys.
We got lots of, as collectors call them, ho-hos.
Yep. Got some of the 110 scale Weta minis, along with some of the older Sideshow Weta helms, which are really cool. Can't recommend those enough. King of the Dead. I really like. I wish I had a light behind that one, because the resin's all translucent, so you can actually make them glow, which is pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
The mill.
It's Sam and Frodo there on a base that was made by Andy Mee from Flame of Udon. So just slot in the pieces and creates the complete scene from when they're camped out in the woods. There's the
Pony.
Weta prancing pony. These for a better look.
For those of you who haven't seen this in person, it is quite tiny. There's Sam and Bill.
Yep, my beloved Sam and Bill the pony. That I actually showed the pictures of that to Sean Aston when I met him at the Fan Expo, and then I met him again the following year in Vancouver, and that's when I brought the base, and he had it signed there. Cool. Frodo and Mary, Buckleberry Ferry back there. Sadly, there is no Pippin.
The new environment of the Gates of Durham.
Yep. There's Gate of Moria, that's the another version.
A great piece. You can't really tell with digital cameras, but the runes on it are on the door are very crisp.
Mm-hmm. It's like the glow, the fade in, fade out glow.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Sideshow Weta Watcher in the Water. Great, one of the older pieces. Below we have a bit of a Galadriel display. That's the original Sideshow Weta, and then that's Kyle's Mirror of Galadriel, that's one of the originals, but I believe he's since remade that by popular demand. Then we that's her tiara or crown from Fellowship, I believe, and her brooch and Nenya, and then over there that's actually Elrond's circlet in Rivendell, and that's Vilya.
Look, more ho-hos.
Mary's Gondor helm and Mary's Rohirrim helm. And Pippin's Gondorian helm. The DVD Gollum, Saruman, Ringwraith, trio of Mirkwood helms. Here we have a shelf that's basically dedicated to the Hobbit. Recognize many of these statues, no doubt. Bilbo versus Gollum. Some of the dwarves. I only have 5 of them. They're collecting the whole lot. Wouldn't have had the space anyways. That's Hobbit Gandalf, the removable hat.
One of the best Gandalfs, I think.
Yeah.
I really love the pose on that one.
Nice piece. Thorin with his ring. Thranduil with one of his 4 rings that you can get from Noble.
He would wear 4 rings.
Of course. Stylish Elven King. And down there we got a bit of an Erebor display with Thror and Thorin. And then the tapestry that you see in Lake Town. Where Bard realizes that there's something more to the dwarves than meets the eye. There's the mini smog on treasure, and behind there you see this is the original Dream Sphere from John Lowe that he named his company after, and that was kind of a stand-in representation for the Arkenstone until he actually made the one that's shaped just like the one in the movies, which I have over there in the case. Below there we have Dane Ironfoot, a couple of helmets, and next to him is Bard the Bowman. He's sort of shooting the arrow in the direction of Smog. Next door, he's kind of hiding down below it. Really wish I could display some of these bigger pieces a little higher up or more prominently, but again, space being what it is, sacrifices must be made. Here's a bit of a Rivendell display. Statue Elrond from The Hobbit, along with his circlet that he wears in that movie, and then the miniature helm in the background.
The likeness on Elrond in this one is quite good too.
I think that is probably one of the top 3 best actor likenesses.
I'd be really curious to see what they could do with a new Elrond in a Lord of the Rings pose.
Right. We have more. Continuing the Elven display, got the 2 versions of the Elven helm from United, Rivendell and the Newest Alliance, Soldier. Arwen's sword up there had a fang. This is a display with the Elven houses. Really cool. Big shout out to Haley from Puka Work Studios who makes those. They're incredible. Shield, the Elven sword. That's a stand again made by Andrew. That's the concept actually of the unreleased original stand for the Elven sword. This is what they went with eventually. But Andrew got a hold of how the original design was supposed to be that United eventually rejected, but he made a couple of these, one for himself and one for me. I think it looks really cool. Up there we got Toriel's daggers and Thranduil's staff.
Oh, what's this? Aha.
Surprise up there. That's Eglos, the Spear of Gil-galad, painstakingly crafted by Andrew into darkness. It's the only one in existence, if you don't count the various aborted attempts that he made at crafting this thing. He doesn't even have one himself. Of course, United, it looks like they may be releasing their version soon, but theirs is going to be the shaft apparently won't be the correct dimension just because of shipping, and also the spearhead's going to come in, I think, 2 pieces, so there's going to be a seam. So I think this, not to brag, but I think this is probably the most accurate version that will ever exist. And I'm ever so proud to own it, and I can't thank Ender enough for letting me have it. So, yeah, it's really one of my pieces that I have the most pride in having in my collection. And we have a bit of the birthday display, kind of. We got this is the United cutlery version of Saruman's staff. I don't think it's as good as the Weta version, but unfortunately I didn't get that one. We got the Uruk-hai scimitar up there. We have Gimli and Legolas and Amon Hen. I love this piece.
The likeness, especially on Gimli, is just great.
Yeah, that's great.
We got
Amon Hen itself, original from Sideshow Weta, and then Aragorn at Amon Hen.
considered by many to be the best Aragorn.
He does look pretty awesome. I think he's looks better than the more recent classic series. I know many don't love the pose, but I think it's great, and I think the likeness is pretty spot on. We got the original Boromir there, facing off at Lurtz.
This time Boromir wins though, right?
We got the lights turned off for some reason. Open that door because it always knocks the arrow off. No, don't. The magnet's too strong. We can do this one. Still a great piece, but I can't wait till they do a classic series Boromir. Look amazing.
See, Boromir's gonna win this time because he's got his shield.
Yeah. Would have helped him with those arrows.
It would have.
Here we got Galadriel Dol Guldur. Again, one of the better, I think, sculpts of her face ever.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on.
Yeah. We got the tiara that she wears in The Hobbit and the file.
The Haldir likeness is pretty good too.
Yeah. They did a good job on that one too. Got the Galadriel home next to him. Down below we got Faramir with his captain's home next to him. Here we got the torture of Dol Guldur, which was actually the original concept design for Bolg. I wish they had stuck with it because I don't like the CGI version they ended up with, but this one was way more interesting, and it was also practical effects. It was an actor in the actual suit. It's a great piece. I have it mainly because I consider that to be Bolg, and I think that's the only work I actually have in my collection. So the Uruk-hai are
Right.
they're not orcs. They are, but they're
That's
not. So.
And then we got Saruman.
Saruman at Dol Guldur. And then last but not least is Radagast.
He's a silly fellow.
Yeah, he's pooped on a lot. So that's it. Basically covers the collection. Hope you guys enjoyed the tour. It's been took a lot of months to create this room. We'll eventually post some pictures on the forum, but this was at the basement level here of my house, and yeah, this room was not finished. This was all down to concrete walls and studs. There was no ceiling, no flooring. It was all bare concrete. So over many months, and with the help of contractors, we turned this into this area, and then it was a lot of time taken to basically decide where everything was going to go. I can't stress enough that if your space is limited as it is with me, I don't have Ben's gigantic mansion to throw stuff into at willy-nilly. Love you, Ben.
Ben doesn't have space either.
Oh yeah, that's why he's moving his entire dungeon elsewhere, or he's going to keep like maybe half two. So yeah, it took a long time to kind of really plan where each piece would go. At one point, I didn't even think I was going to be able to fit everything in here. And then also with an eye towards leaving just enough space in some areas, being tactical enough for these like one or two last remaining pieces to kind of fill out the collection, like maybe like Merry and Pippin's weapons, for example, to still leave enough space for those to go on was a real challenge, but I think it looks great, if I do say so myself. And
So Val, what is your favorite piece in your collection? I know we've kind of, on the very first episode, we asked you, I asked you this, but for those who maybe haven't seen that episode, what is your favorite piece in your collection?
Favorite piece? Gosh, can we do like top three?
Okay, yeah, your top three.
Obviously, Treebeard it's amazing, and the piece itself has a lot of meaning to me, specifically around the circumstances where I bought it. I've told that story elsewhere. I won't bore you with it here now, but it has sentimental value to me. If I ever do have to get rid of my collection one day, this will probably be the last thing that I will be sad to ever have to let go of. But I think it's the piece that I love the most. But in terms of meaning, it's hard to explain, but another one that really means a lot to me just because it's so unique, and the amount of effort and labor that it took to create and have it be here is fabulous. Again, I can't thank Andrew enough for that. And the third would probably be the Red Book of Miss March by Indy Magnoli Props. It's such an incredible piece. It's the embodiment of the story of the Lord of the Rings in form that you actually see in the movies, and is part of the Middle Earth setting. So that would probably be my third pick. But God, there's so many other things in here, and it's funny because I have more love for the custom made pieces that individual craftsmen have made to fill holes in the collections that were left behind by companies like Weta and United Cutlery and whatnot. So for example, this Crown of the Witch King, Boromir's Shield.
Now, is that the Hobbit Morgul dagger or the Lord of the Rings?
No, that's the Lord of the Rings.
So that one is a bit...
That's the original.
Yeah.
One. Yeah. It actually says it's supposed to have I think a slightly different finish on the blade.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Between the two, and I've seen them side to side, I think I like this one better. Plus, it's the one that stabs Frodo.
Right.
If you want to be nitpicky about the matching the release of the prop and what it says on the box, it being Lord of the Rings, because the one that you see in The Hobbit, albeit supposedly the same dagger, it's in a different setting. I don't think it has as much meaning. So.
And I don't know if people realize just how big this thing is.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. It's fully wearable. This part here is actually see-through from the inside, so you can't see the person's face, but you can actually
see out of it.
Yeah, the material that they used.
You'll be wearing that next comic expo, right?
Well, you have the full outfit, so I'm gonna have to lend it to you.
So, do you remember your first piece? I think.
Yeah,
I
right
remember
here.
it. Yeah.
United Cutlery Sting. I think it was what's the date on the blade? Because I keep getting asked that question. I think this was. It doesn't actually have the date. I thought they did. Maybe it's on the box. Anyways, I think it was either 2002, 2003 when United made the first I don't think they knew what Pandora's box they were opening at the time. But yeah, found this at the mall at a knife shop. Had this on the window, and I just knew I had to have it. And from there, the rest is history. Yeah, I moved on to. I think
All
the
of
next
this.
release was
Glamdring.
Glamdring or an Arsal, one of the two, and
makes
followed
sense.
closely by the two ring wraith swords, and yeah, just snowball from that.
I'm sure some collectors will be surprised to hear that the Hollywood Collectibles Lothlorien Bow of Legolas wasn't in your top three.
Oh, well, I mean, there's just so much stuff here, and so many memories associated with collecting some of these and tracking them down. Like some are just simple, purchases online as a piece gets released, so not much thought going into that. But some of these other pieces, there was so much history behind either tracking it down post-release on eBay or finding like a craftsman like Andrew that was willing to make a missing piece like this, or talking to a friend online that was willing to let go of a particular piece and coming to an agreement.
It
picking it up.
surprises me that United Cutlery never made Boromir's shield. They made the Gondorian and the Elven shield, but this is the shield that gets the
It
most.
actually belongs to a character rather than a generic sword.
Yeah,
You're right, but
it
I
gets
think,
the most screen time of all the shields.
Yeah.
But
I think from talking to Kip over the years on UC forums, it's become clear that I think they had plans to get around to a lot of these pieces eventually. But eventually they ran into some financial difficulties, and the company went bankrupt and then rebought, and they kind of had a rethink of what they wanted to release. It may have been that maybe the shields may not have necessarily been originally big selling pieces. So, they're a company and they always have to look at the sales and the trends. And if they thought that, well, these shields didn't sell very well, or we weren't able to finish even the production runs on some of the limited pieces, like why would we take the risk and go with yet another shield? Hindsight being 2020, this thing would, had they released it would be very highly sought after now. But
So, for future Cutlery releases, what are some pieces you're looking forward to? Are you excited for the Sword of Sauron?
no, I am not. I dislike the thing with a passion. I see no point in them making it. I feel very strongly about it. It was never utilized in the movies. It's part of a deleted scene that was thankfully dropped and cut from the movies, and you get a glimpse of it in the Minas Morgul armory when the Witch King is gearing up for battle. So that's the only time you ever see it in the movie. So to me, it has no significance. Like Sauron for me will always be equated with the mace. So I just have no, other than sort of a weird tangent of connection to the movies. I don't. With so many other things that we want United to release, it kind of,
So is there a
bugs
piece?
me that they would spend time and money and development and bringing something that's just not ever seen in the movies to things that were seen, like the third Nazgul sword, Merry and Pippin's Weathertop blades, Merry and Pippin's Lothlorien daggers. There's so many other pieces I would love for them to bring to life, which featured prominently in the movies, that I wish they weren't wasting time on such a niche item like Sauron's sword.
Is there a particular United Cutlery piece you're looking forward to?
So they are releasing Boromir's dagger, which I think is really cool. So it'll complement his set here nicely. I do plan to get one day Faramir's sword. So that's one thing I'm missing that is not here. They did express, and again, this is just through reading things on forums, so nothing's for certain, but there's a possibility that, like Gimli's throwing axe, Merry and Pippin's barrow, or like to say barrel blades, but they're really not. But weather top blades might get made, and maybe one or even a pair of the Lothlorien daggers. Just kind of stuff to fill in some of those missing bits and characters. But other than that, really not much. I mean,
Is there
it's pretty well covered. Otherwise,
is there a future Weta piece you really would like to see get done?
I don't think so. I mean, there's only two that I don't currently have in here, which are on pre-order, and that's Gil-galad and the Fountain Guard with the white tree. Those have long been, I think those have been on people's wish lists for a long, long time, and so they're finally fulfilling that for us. Other than that, I mean, everyone knows I would love to have a Denethor. It's pretty big.
Denna who?
Yeah, exactly. This one's for you, Rick. Go Denethor. It baffles me that Weta just has never seen fit to bring the character to life. They probably think he's very unlikable, but then they've made so many works and we like those better. Come on. But it looks like maybe Dr. Malcolm from Flame of Udun's got a pretty neat version in the works, so we'll see. Maybe he will still be able to come to people's collections in that way.
Maybe we'll get a mini epic of Denethor on fire.
No, I will not enter my house ever. Yeah, I always wish they had made a Bjorn
Oh yeah.
statue, like out of everything in the Hobbit that I could live with or without. I think just because that was the first book I read, I think when I was like 14 or 15, and I was always fascinated by that character and his sort of brief appearances in the book, and then to see him fully realized in the movies, I really liked the way they did it, yeah, that's probably the only thing I would ever consider picking up.
Before we wrap up,
Yeah.
is there any advice you would give to a new collector?
Oof.
Other than don't.
Yeah. Other than don't, I don't know. We've talked about this in various times in other episodes, but if you don't have unlimited funds and space, and you really just need to go be selective with what you buy, just again, go through the movies, look at all this, think of the characters that speak the most with you, that you feel a connection with, and by virtue of that, the things that they wear, like their weapons, their costumes, whatever, or whether you like a culture more, like if you're into elves or dwarves or whatever, then go after those pieces and have that represented in your collection. And maybe expand from there, or maybe if you just like the Fellowship, then everything that's on this wall is all you need. So yeah, there's various ways to come at it, but I kind of went for the shotgun approach because I just like Middle Earth as a whole. I like the good guys, I like the bad guys. Between the props and the statues and whatnot, it's kind of all in here in one form or another. So yeah, that's
Perfect.
well, thank you for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed this little trip through my little corner of Middle Earth. See you guys online.